How many of us in here seriously believe XRP is about to do big things along with the crypto market this year? Which means you're about to get profit-taking opportunity this year in 2023. That's the most likely scenario in my opinion. Why? Because you are watching change in macro environment. You are watching change in the micro price action sentiments. If you do look at things, I'm not talking about the hype or the glitch which is coming out of the market. Yes, it is true that at one point you saw that $50 price glitch on that exchange. Why is that? It's because of low liquidity. The order book will show you glitches if you cannot match the orders. Right now, that's not the real thing we need to discuss, because we know in the past we have seen things like this, right? So in a short period of time, people go to this extent. That's not what we are here talking about. We are sitting here to give you guys the right perspective on a short-term horizon. That's a 4-hour chart. It shows you the fact that we have a bullish divergence. We are looking for the price action to move higher. Now, does that align with the trend lines? Does that align with the range where the price action is respecting the price movements? Align with the technical movements of the price action. Say here we have resistance, we just project that and it becomes a support. So even if you come back down to this level of 0.6, it still shows you the fact that you are heading higher. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. When we talk about that, it's through the breakout calls. Now, if you actually look at this call in like 2 days, we are watching that the price is already up 75%. So if you actually take a look into the market kind of gives you some ideas here and there. Say earlier this year, we were actually saying, okay, this is about to drop. And now you go look at that, we did our follow-up saying, okay, this is going to be a pattern. The price action can slow down and come down. Watch that. The asset actually came down as we told. Now, yeah, the point actually comes in like, okay, we got the top, but what about getting the bottom, right? We had this call way before that, back in Jan, saying this seems to be a great opportunity. And what happens? The price actually runs up in like 2-3 months and you get to take the profit. Now, yes, that's earlier this year. I was not the only asset showing that. We knew that. We were following that. We saw the breakouts. We followed them in. Now, we are watching something similar. Look at this. This is one of the assets. It's down 10% for the day. But look, it's up 40% for the week. It's up 85% for the month and still only up 65% for the year. Which means you may have to look at the price action. We were following this even before the recent price action burst, showing against Bitcoin. It was slowly grinding back up, showing positivity in the price action. That's why we did the price action comparison in the USD terms. Now, where are we? We are already up like 120, 150%. We already came close to the target one. Now, all this actually shows you one thing. If these assets are actually running up in a market environment like this, running higher, in a sense, which it actually shows you huge price movement. 100% on a month is not a small deal. Yes, you see small coins bursting much higher, but this is really about looking for where we are headed. On a short-term horizon, we do see that the price is forming a divergence, which is bullish, and you're trying to move back higher. Great. Now, as we continue the education perspective in this channel, I would really appreciate if you guys can actually smash that like button. Now, if you actually take XRP price action a little bit on the higher end of higher time frame structure, there's a 12-hour chart. On a 12-hour chart, XRP does show you, say, 0.63 is where we are slowing down. Yeah, agreed. Great point. But what are we really looking at? If we actually look for things on a daily chart and 12-hour chart, we see a slowdown here. Great, we want one more leg to the downside, close to maybe 0.6, which is going to be positive, which will be impacted by the Bitcoin market for sure. when you actually take a look at Bitcoin on a daily, you do see one candle breaking this trend line to the upside. Now the stance is improving. Room is kind of being set for bulls to come in. Why am I saying that? Look here, there's one candle, yes, that went up, it broke higher, great, good. However, if you actually watch this, after that one candle to the upside, we now have 3 candles completed on a daily chart. And the fourth one is where we are working out. So think about this, one candle goes to the upside and now you have 3 candles doing all this slowdown, yet you didn't reach the bottom. That's a great point because all this level it's holding on. So a buy from this level is going to push the price action to the upside. So you're going to watch, if not for today, maybe in the next 24 hours candle, you may actually watch the price action coming back up, hitting these levels, slowly going higher. Now that's not the perfect drawing, but you guys get the idea. So what are we watching? If the price action can run higher, about 29,771, that will show you bulls are active. So keep this in mind, 29,771. About that, Bitcoin is showing you bullish sentiment in the market. That's on a daily chart. Great. Now on the same chart, if you zoom out, as we talked yesterday, this trend line is holding. And the micro trend line where your breakout structure comes in becomes valid at that point. It's super important to note that because that shows you the market is slow. People are expecting more slowdown or drop in the price action, but the market is suggesting the fact that, okay, the correction can be time-based correction, the correction can be price-based correction. Here it's showing, yeah, I've done a little bit in price-based correction, but I'm doing a little bit in the time-based correction. So if we get a pop above this range, say 30,000, now that shows you the strength of bulls are increasing, which means the entire crypto market is going to reflect that. If Bitcoin is about to run a little bit to the upside, you will watch the entire market running to the upside. You will watch people jumping onto this aisle. And one of the positive things to keep in mind here, an exchange has to do this now. I'm like, okay, that means there is enough amount of demand there. Now, one thing we need to think about is Gemini is actually a Bitcoin maxi area. And when you get this, I'm like, okay, did any XRP community member hack into their system? I'm not sure about that. As of now, we don't have any news. But what we do know is that when we go into the market side, you are getting slowed down on the Bitcoin dominant side. As an altcoin investor, I personally would like to see this dropping to the downside because that will show me that most of the trades which we have open now is going to be in decent profit margin. If this drops towards 48, I'm like, that's like a balle moment for all of us who have trades, active trades, where if this drops to the end of 48, that's going to show you some of these assets are going to run higher. Now, why do I keep that number close to 48, 49? Because this trend line is still valid. So if the price actually drops, the dominance come back to this end, okay, that should be a support. Now that's a micro move. Remember, that's a daily chart and a micro move which we are talking about. And one thing to keep in mind is you usually see the touch and run, that kind of price action coming in, where you see this climbing to the upside. At one point, you go burst to the upside and then slow down. So if we break this level, now that becomes a critical range for all of us who hold altcoins. Meaning if Bitcoin drops below 48, that means now you have a lot of room to run to the downside. The first primary support would be close to 47, great. But a force where you break to the downside here can push you back into the range where you can go all the way back down to 40%. Take this range and understand that's the resistance turned support. And if you break that, that's when you turn bullish. What if we reach 48 and bounce off? All coins are going to take a beating. That's why understanding your targets are important. That's why taking profits as you go up is important. That's one of the reasons why I follow up all these charts and updates in the group saying, guys, these are the targets, take profit, skim profit. That is important in the market, because if you watch Bitcoin dominance coming down, great, your trades are going to run higher. But if you see a reversal happening in the Bitcoin dominance, that may not be a good thing. That would show you the early signs of money flow reverting back into Bitcoin, which is good for the long run, because when Bitcoin runs above 30,000, 32,000, the market itself becomes bullish. Yes, the notion would be Bitcoin has to do much bigger numbers. It's all good, it's all great. That means the entire crypto ecosystem is about to burst. If you put that into perspective on the narrative of daily chart, it shows you the fact that, okay, that means if the price action come back down to this range, I'm cool with it, because this range would be considered as a buy zone. And if you're bouncing off from this range, wow, that's something which we really would like to see, because this level of resistance is going to be taken out. That's close to 0.9. We touched that area briefly last time. So if we break that, it's going to be massively bullish. The next range comes at 1.37, say 1.35, after which you have around $2. Great. All of this would be considered as a staircase to the all-time highs, because the all-time highs would be around $3.9. And we can do that. Most likely we may do that this year itself, and most likely we would put price discovery in big numbers this year. All of the scenarios which we are watching right now points towards that. So in 3 months from now, 6 months from now, when we watch the price action, we are all watching it on the monthly chart, because that's how the price action is working. And you just saw that the MACD is crossing to the upside. You just saw that the RSI is just starting to trend to the upside. All of things look bullish. We want to see this range getting broken. If the price action maintains a move above 35 and retest this 30 and bounce off, that is it. That's where you see a lot of money entering into the crypto realm, when that's not the real area what you should be doing. You should have been accumulating at these levels, and riding it as much as possible. If so, now we are already in the market. We are preparing for taking profits. We are looking forward to each of our assets in the portfolio, making sure you know where to take profit. That's an important point here. And if it's XRP, keep in mind you're going to have resistance. Keep in mind all these resistance are going to be active as we go up. We will have a lot of Bitcoin Maxis Ether guys, all of them shorting this asset at the resistance to slow this down. So taking some profits as we go up is going to be primarily important. We are discussing through that in the one-on-one session as much as possible, because each and everyone has a different portfolio. Each and everyone has maybe 50% fundamentals, 50% risk. Some of them have 80% fundamentals, 20% risk. So each portfolio is different. You need to actually think about how much you should be taking from that percent point. Because if you're not doing that right, what ends up happening is like last time I've seen this. Some of them goes dry completely out way before we reach a top in the price action. You really don't want to do that. So make sure you understand what your portfolio looks like and how you are going to plan your exits. That's going to be important, especially this year. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate that a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.